It was a preview of what is to come, very soon, for the 500,000 people who live on the island nation. In a few decades, all of them will have to move or live underwater. You can drastically reduce your greenhouse gas emissions so that the seas do not rise so much, the Maldivian president appealed to the industrial countries. Or when we show up on your shores in our boats, you can let us in. Or when we show up on your shores in our boats, you can shoot us. You pick. In the 21st century, the number one driver of migration might be climate change. According to the UN, a fifth of the world's population will be affected by floods by 2050, and so many of them will move to dry land. According to the International Organization for Migration, at least 200 million people will be displaced by climate change by 2050. The figure could be as high as 1 billion, which would be 1 out of every 10 people. Aruma Revi, the director of the Indian Institute for Human Settlements and an author of a recent IPCC report, predicted, in some parts of the world, national borders will become irrelevant. You can set up a wall to try to contain 10,000 and 20,000 and 1 million people, but not 10 million people. The prognosis is not good. Towards the end of this century, if current trends are not reversed, large parts of Bangladesh, the Philippines, Indonesia, Pakistan, Egypt, and Vietnam, among other countries, will be underwater, says Michael Gerard, director of the Sabin Center for Climate Change at Columbia Law School. Some small island nations, such as Kiribati and the Marshall Islands, will be close to disappearing entirely. Swaths of Africa from Sierra Leone to Ethiopia will be turning into desert. Glaciers in the Himalayas and the Andes, on which entire regions depend for drinking water, will be melting away. Many habitable parts of the world will no longer be able to support agriculture or produce clean water. But migration driven by climate change isn't something that's safely in the future. It's been dramatically increasing in the recent past. Since 1992, 4.2 billion people have been affected by droughts, floods, and storms. Today, 1.8 billion people are suffering the effects of drought, land degradation, and desertification. People think of the Syrian civil war as a conflict between Sunnis and Shiites, or a proxy war between Saudi Arabia and Iran. But another way to look at it is the natural result of a 3-year drought, the worst in the region's history, between 2007 and 2010. The wheat withered in the fields. The cattle died of thirst. 1.5 million villagers swarmed into the cities, there to be recruited by militias, the only jobs many of them could get. The country exploded. When you can't make a living by your plowshares, you'll beat them into swords. As the world gets hotter, the hotheads grow angrier. According to a 2009 study published in the Proceedings of the National Academy of Sciences, there are strong historical linkages between civil war and temperature in Africa, with warmer years leading to significant increases in the likelihood of war. When combined with climate model projections of future temperature trends, this historical response to temperature suggests a roughly 54% increase in armed conflict incidents by 2030, or an additional 393,000 battle deaths if future wars are as deadly as recent wars. Migrants come to work because they can't work at home. Heat waves took almost 1 million people out of the global workforce in 2016, half of them in India alone. They come to eat because they can't eat at home. For every degree Celsius increase in temperature, wheat yields have been falling by 6% and rice yields by 3%. At 1.5 degrees, corn yields shrink by 10%. They come to drink because they can't drink at home. In 2018, India experienced the worst water crisis since it became a country. 600 million Indians, half the population, deal with high to extreme water scarcity. Every year, 200,000 Indians die because of a lack of water or unsafe water. And it's only going to get worse. By 2030, Indians will need twice the amount of water that is available. The deficit in water for irrigation, the government projects, will lead to a 6% drop in the country's GDP by 2030. India is going to get a lot thirstier, a lot poorer. A recent study in the journal Science Advances